When visiting zoos nowadays, people don't think about the life that is happening behind the glass wall or the cage, and how these animals are being fulfilled through their natural instincts and the environment, and how well they are doing health-wise, mentally and physically in these environments. And there's an awareness that needs to be brought upon and mentioned that is commonly being ignored or pushed aside about the mistreatment of these animals and how they aren't living up to their true potential when being put in captivity. There is a negative environment or a negative effect that comes with putting animals in captivities, and what society needs to learn and focus on is what is being hidden and not being told to us, which is the effects that is happening and how more animals are being brought into captivity every day, and that is actually declining specific species populations. So what I believe that we should do is create stronger regulations for zoos in order to help provide a healthier environment for these animals, and a focus on bringing in and then again releasing endangered species, and overall finding a happier lifestyle for these animals. Alright, so what I believe that we can do is help these animals that are currently living in small confined spaces that in no way reach any sort of maximum towards what they would be living in the environment. A lot of zoos use the absolute minimum that they can when it comes to space, and it has led to such species doing poorly, such as carnivores. Recent scientific studies have showed that carnivores do the most poorly when kept in captivity. By fixing such environments, already unnatural environments become more for what their natural instincts are subject to, would create a healthier experience and condition for these animals. If to think of it through a picture, polar bears live freely up north with all this space to roam around and be free, and zoo enclosures that keep polar bears are absolutely nothing compared to a home range for what polar bears actually need. With these regulations, I believe that fewer species should be taken into captivity, and instead a focus towards animals that need professional medical help, or are on the endangerment list should be taken in and then eventually released back into their natural habitat. It can also be used zoos to help a population that is increasingly declining, such as endangered, just grow as a population in whole. And it also, a benefit of zoos and captivity is it can protect animals, but you should only do that for such a long period of time before it becomes unhealthy for the animals mentally. As I stated, endangered species should be the primary focus for zoos. Right now, a lot of zoos are just taking in as many animals that they can, whatever currently is the trending animal that more people would pay money to see, and all these animals are being taken out of their natural environment and put behind a screen. Instead of doing so, species that tend to thrive in captivity should be focused on, as well as animals such as elephants that are currently endangered and are constantly dying alone and in pain in the wild because of humans. These animals should be taken into focus and brought in and see professional medical help so that eventually they can go into full recovery and again released into the wild where they can continue living out their life. What I also believe is that the animals that should be brought in for medical attention are ones that are harmed by humans or anything of society that we have done, rather than a simple gazelle gets caught by a cheetah. It would be an elephant that's tusks have been removed by poachers, and needs any sort of help to make sure that they can continue living their life out in the wild. For improving the life in captivity, larger confinements definitely need to be made. Regulations towards expanding what the supposed minimum for these exhibits are very important, because, as I stated earlier, animals are being confined in spaces that reach the absolute minimum of what they would get out in the wild, and by being at that minimum, they mentally get into a more depressed state, and they don't get the social aspect of what they would and what they need for their physical and mental health. Same goes with being able to hunt or just eat in general for how they would and how they were naturally and instinctually built. Enclosures can be expanded based off funds that people are paying to visit the zoo. Funds should be used for making sure that the enclosures fit the needs of the animals, as well as any medical attention that there is needed, rather than the focus on advertising and creating exhibits that don't benefit the animals, but rather are just an attraction to society and citizens and people that are visiting the zoos. In conclusion, what is really needed to help create a healthier and safer environment for all animals is stronger regulations that are meant to create healthy environments that are targeted towards endangered species and any medical attention, as I've stated, that they need. So today, go online and find an organization that helps support finding alternatives to animals that are being kept in captivity without that unnecessarily being kept in captivity, as well as any funds that are being made for animals that are going extinct or currently on the endangerment list, or such organizations that are out to help stop poachers from harming elephants for their tusks, etc. Thank you.